We're with Chef BeLive, based in Santa Monica, vibrating his true love really in all strata of the of all creation. And really, it's so true. I just met you a couple days ago, and you're so awesome. You're so giving. BeLive is walking around Raw Spirit Festival, just offering to everyone. What do you got right here today?
This right here, this is a granola that I made. It's a walnut, macadamia nut. What else?
Brazil nut, goji berry.
So much stuff in it.
Wow.
Almond, walnut, Brazil nut, macadamia nut with dates, lucuma, maca, mesquite, nutmeg, and dates. And then I made a milk from coconut water, coconut milk, coconut oil, and vanilla. And I took that on, put it on top, and then I topped it with hemp seeds and goji berries. That's about it.
Amazing.
And of course, the number one ingredient, love.
Love. Can you talk about, because really we're on Raw Food Stories, and the goal of this video and channel is to really inspire people to go raw and get in touch with that inner spirit. And can you maybe just talk a little bit about your journey to raw food and how it so beautifully synergizes with development of your best life ever?
Well, you know, for me, the key for me and the entrance into this world was through really good tasting raw foods, gourmet raw foods. And you know, before that, my children's mother, she wanted me to go to Giuliano's original restaurant probably about a year, and I was like, in my mind, or in the back of my mind, whatever, all I could think of was, why would I want to go to a restaurant that has bananas and apples on the table? Mm-hmm. You know, so I just had that perspective until I actually chose and decided to go with her there. And then after eating the meal, I was like, for one, I walked out of the restaurant, walked on the sidewalk, and started feeling like I was floating. And so I was just high off it, you know, and it wasn't from anything else.
Right.
So that right there was huge. And then the quality of the food and the fact that I could still have pasta. I don't remember what it was that I ordered that day, but I remember it being like gourmet, like really good tasting food. And so that was the key for me to get into raw foods. And then
that it's not suffering to try it.
Yeah, it wasn't suffering to try it whatsoever. I mean, you know, it's all an individual thing though. Everyone has a different, you know, entrance into it, and that was mine.
And wow, so as far as other ways people get introduced to it, some people go for, because they hear it's healing, so they don't care how it tastes, they want the healing. So for you, it was like you kind of knew that it was maybe good for you, but to have that amazing taste was kind of the topper.
Well, you know, honestly, for me, I didn't even really know that it was good for me. I was a vegan, and honestly, I was healthy. I was quite healthy, and it wasn't until after that first meal that I found out that a whole bunch of people lots of people had gotten rid of cancer from eating raw, diabetes, all of these degenerative diseases. So being that my mom died of cancer when I was 18, that right there was another shift for me, with just understanding that it had powerful healing aspects. And then as far as like up until now, 2009, the whole drive for most raw foodists, from what I would see, was that people would be introduced to it because they had heard about it being healthy, or they had read about it. You know, it would be from that aspect people were coming in. There was very few of us that were coming in from it tasting good or even going to a restaurant, because up until about probably 2 years ago, somewhere around that, you know, I don't want to place a date on it, but once raw foods became hip, you know, or, you know, fun, you know, popular, then people like me, because that's what inspired me to make, you know, really scrumptious, good tasting, orgasmic food. Was because of the fact that, you know, I consider myself a transitional chef, turning people on and letting them know that it could taste good. Up until, you know, the last couple of years, it was really a challenge for someone like me to actually do work, because most raw foodists are coming from it where they're not caring what it tastes like, because they're tasting with what I call their third eye. They're just like, they know, they feel, which I predominantly eat like that myself. But I've met a lot of people out there that I even had 2 celebrity clients that didn't even want to try my food, but because their friends are like, no, you have to try BeLive food. They tasted it and they were like, wow. And they hired me within a couple weeks, both, for as a private chef. So I've had numerous people that have tasted people's food or went to certain restaurants and didn't want to eat my food out of the event, or didn't want to eat my food wherever I'd been displaying it, or at someone's house or whatnot.
Right.
And then I'd put a spoon in their mouth and they're, whoa. So I just see it as being one of the channels to tuning in.
It's amazing.
One of the aspects to turning on to raw foods. And it's playing a more important part the more popular it gets, because the masses out there, face it, most of them want it to taste good, want food to be good.
Yep.
So even if they can't or don't know that it's good for them, or they've just heard that it is, and they need that first experience to be flavorful, well, it opens up the door to where they can read, listen, hear testimonies from people, and really connect with others to find out what the benefits of eating this way and that way. Now, everybody will say, like, we can go to one booth, grab a product, then go to another and show the booth over here. We're at the Raw Spirit Festival. We said that, and this booth over here will say, "Well, that's not good for you," or we can do that left and right, because, in my opinion, every human is different, so we all resonate with different things. So, I don't really buy into the fact that certain products are bad, like per se mushrooms or nuts or agave or I think that it's basically an individual thing, and for us to connect to raw foods in whatever way, shape, or form it may be, then we start walking that intuitive highway and figuring it out ourselves, because that's all we really have. We can go to doctors, we can go to Hippocrates, we can go to True Life, we can go to this person, that person, but the only person that really knows it is ourselves. So I just see myself as someone who can show others that it can taste good. And I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not someone who can make any claims. I have my preferences as far as my food goes for flavor. I keep it raw. I keep it vegan. As far as like what I know, I try not to get too involved with the debates and the because there's definitely debates, and there's
right about
that right now.
Yeah.
But I just love doing what I do, and I believe that when you put love, when you put a frequency, a vibration of an energy of love, and really like set it in there. See, I do energy work with my food as well. I'm always chanting and praying and like blessing it every time I make it, and I don't ever take claim to it. This right here, I did not make it. I am only a channel. I'm only like here for God, for the source, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Other than that, I can't take claim for it. I can't say that I did it, because I learned through this gift that I've been downloaded with, that I really don't even know where it came from.
Right.
I learned a couple things, and all of a sudden I jumped behind a counter, and I was a head chef, and I owned a restaurant. and I only knew how to do a couple things, and all of a sudden I knew everything. Wow. I don't even know how. I still don't even. When I make a recipe, unless I'm documenting it for a book, I don't even know. I'm doing it different each time. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's flowing through you.
Yeah, it's just flowing. So I just I honor that, and I just want to be that gateway for the people who need it. Other than that, I want to be there for and supportive and serving others who I'm not the doorway, so to speak, to come into the whole raw food lifestyle.